We're broadcasting on Facebook, on the Facebook group Freedom Broadcasters, and on YouTube.
Excellent. So, for those that are watching, you'll find everything about Arnold on braingym.fitness, and about me. Just scan the QR code, you'll find all we're doing. But today we're doing it a bit different. So I suppose, Arnold, you can let the listeners know, what are we going discussing today?
Yes, today we're going to discuss what we're always doing at the Awakening, but is what is happening in the world, but now as it relates to protests. I found out that it's not easy. Well, you might know that there are protests in 1 or 2 countries, but I think right now it's close to 10. And it's all over the world. And it's about, you might say it's different topics, but somehow they're also related. So that's why I thought, let's have a specific session between Roy and me about what's happening there, because I think a lot of these things are related. That's why we're going to discuss what are these protests that are going on, and what are they about, and what's happening, and is it now solved, or will it continue?
So, yeah, I mean, I've come across a lot. There's so much going on. Obviously, London, UK was a massive one, but I want to cover the way the news kind of done it as well. There's Serbia, there's Nepal, Ireland, there's even in the US as well. So this Australia, there's probably more than 10, but it's hard to keep track of everything and know exactly what. But there's a kind of common one with kind of Ireland and some of Europe and the States. So I suppose you can, which one have you got first?
Well, I got a lot. So I want to mention, which you didn't mention right now, that makes it more interesting, New Zealand. New Zealand, tens of thousands of people have joined a pro-Palestinian march in Auckland, which is the capital of New Zealand, marking the largest rally since the Gaza conflict began. So that is New Zealand. Argentina, weekly protests by retirees and civic groups against President Milei's economic measures, often joined by judicial workers and other unions. Protests tend to focus on economic hardship. That's important because that's what you see everywhere. And pension reductions, sometimes dispersed forcibly by authorities, meaning they hit you to go somewhere else. Australia. Indigenous activists are organizing nationwide demonstration in response to a racist hate crime, aiming for national action against racism, with large attendance expected in major cities. Well, I can add a lot more, but the last one I'm going to do, which is in very large country, Indonesia. Major protests against wage cuts, so that is also the economic thing. Corruption, that's also what you see everywhere else. And recent changes in government personnel have resulted in mass unrest across many cities. Demonstrators include students, workers, rights groups, with tense confrontations around the parliament and government buildings.
I have stuff on that. What I saw is the public anger is over 250% increase in land and building taxes, and in budget cuts to fund a free nutritious meal program, obviously attacking, and then ratification of a revised armed forces law, expanding military influence in civilian roles. There was outrage over the death of an online motorcycle taxi driver during a protest, and then broader economic hardship and job market collapse. It's like everywhere people can't pay their bills, they can't feed themselves, and they're getting so frustrated. And then we kind of maybe come across the pond, but it's the same thing, because I mean, if they're increasing everything and then putting money into military, it's like, why would you be doing that? But if you go across the pond, it like over to Europe, it's the same thing. Like, there's people saying we were waiting 7 years to get a house. People are just thrown out in the streets. Yet all these people coming in a boat and they're housed, they're getting meals, everything's covered for them. They get free medical, every single thing that they're not giving to the locals, which in turn is infuriating people, and they can't understand why is this happening. And I saw one guy in Parliament, and he was asking your man. He said they're paying 5,000 to come across because there's obviously organizations that do this, bringing them on the boat and all that. He says, why don't they just get an easy jet or a Wizz Air flight for 28 bucks? Because they'll have their passport. So then they can't claim asylum. So the whole thing, they're fraudulent coming in and they're getting all the assets, and the hotels are, so people can't go to hotels anymore because they're just full of immigrants, and with all rapes and all stabbings, everyone then is frustrated. So the ones in the UK mainly, I don't know, do you want to, I want to touch this because I've looked at a load of videos. It was Tommy Robinson was kind of organizing this, but if you listen to CNN, right, this is the article now from CNN that they posted, I don't know, less than 24 hours ago. It's like 10 hours or something like that. Far right anti-immigration protests in London lead to clashes with police. Police officers were attacked with projectiles and assaulted during the far right anti-immigration protest in London on Saturday. The British Capital Force said as more than 110,000 people took to the streets. The United Kingdom protest was organised by far-right political activist Tommy Robinson. Counter-protesters also flocked the British capital. The Metropolitan Police Service said on social media on Saturday that the reported attacks happened after demonstrations at the Kingdom March breached a sterile area put in place to keep pedestrians and counter protesters apart. And they're basically saying like the 26 officers and 25 people. I saw a few reports on this. I don't know, was there 3 million or 4 million? And I know I saw the same before with different protests in Ireland. A drone has flew over London, and I've been to matches with massive capacity, and there was like 10 stadiums or more. So there was no way, and it's easy to calculate. When you've got an overhead, you can calculate approximate number of people. So they're lying again. CNN, I mean, we know they lie, BBC lie, like all these papers lie. There was some people are saying 4 million, some are saying 3 million, but they're coming along saying it's 110,000. That's pathetic. And they do that all over the world. And that just shows why the media, you can't trust them. Hence why podcasting, not just ourselves, but there's a lot of podcasters, they get the proper information out there.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to say that as well. That's very, because the traditional media was all saying, they all say the same 110 million while it was going on. I monitored it yesterday. They said, oh, it's over 1 million. No, we're reaching 3 million. So it like, yeah, and it's like, it was huge. Yeah. I see nothing with problems with the police. Well, if there's 3 million people, then there will be some problem. Yeah, so, but it's like nothing like that. It was all very peaceful and everything going on or whatever. They could have completely demolished London, but no, it was nice. Yes, it's yeah, incredibly worrisome that people say, "Oh, it's nothing." No, it's not nothing, because these people they are not only living in London; they come from all over the country. It's like,
And it wasn't just kind of like there was a lot of elderly people there as well, which is nice to see. You had all ages.
yeah, that is a common theme. What you see everywhere, it's from students to the elderly. Yeah, so it's not only one particular group, and it is all over the world. It's not one particular group. It's retirees. It's like I said, it's students. It's everybody is impacted by a lot of these reasons. And you mentioned the migration issue, which is a huge issue in Western Europe, England, Ireland, everywhere. But it's not in countries like Indonesia, Nepal, New Zealand, Argentina, Australia, Brazil. So it's just, that is just one of the reasons. that people are dissatisfied. So it's a couple of reasons everywhere. I used AI to check and say what are the common causes behind these worldwide reflect, and it came up with a very interesting list. And it says they center around political. Yeah, people are fed up with their leaders. That is kind of everywhere. Economic grievances. That's what you said. Well, in England, the elderly can't pay the heating bill anymore. Yeah? But well, I'm in Romania. It's like people cannot buy enough food because the food prices go up, but the salaries don't go up. Social grievances. It's like, hey, I cannot. That's one of the reasons why I'm here. I cannot find a house in the Netherlands because there are not enough affordable houses. It's because they're not building houses. That's a social grievance. Government authoritarianism, which is everywhere, from England to Indonesia to Argentina to everywhere. Like the governments are no longer. We're not living in a democracy anymore. It's an autocracy. Economic hardship is like the people who cannot make their ends meet, like single mothers with 2 kids and 3 jobs. It's like they cannot make their end meet. Students, like they they cannot pay anything anymore. Inequality, that is in a lot of countries, more in Asia and everywhere. It's like they see that these people in politics and in government, they get all the nice jobs and they get chauffeurs and with cars and Mercedes cars and everything. They get plenty of money, even in Nepal. That's one of the reasons. The problem in Nepal is that they said, oh, people in Nepal, they're very, very poor. And but the government officials, they have so much money, they let their children live a very, very rich lifestyle. So they're part of students, and there's a student coming with a driver in a Mercedes Benz delivering your kid to the university. Yeah, so this inequality, corruption. Well, that's basically everywhere. And threats to democratic freedom. It's like, yeah, in England, if you make the wrong tweet, they put you for 3 years in jail. It's a bit like that is everywhere. And the way the police reacts, whatever, is like, I don't know, but I looked at the latest number from Nepal, and I would say, if you would ask me, it's like Nepal, it's a peaceful country. Yeah, it's Buddhism, it's nice. You know how many people were dead? They were shot by the police.
30, I saw something like that, was it?
What?
Well, I mean, you're going to get different statistics. I saw something like 30.
Yeah, that was older, but now it's 72. That means people are just shot dead because they're protesting. Yes, they went into the parliament, whatever, but the things which are happening in the country are totally outrageous. So, and now things are ongoing in France. It's ongoing. It's happening as we speak. I cannot find. I just checked an hour for our before we had this session. What's happening in Germany? And somehow I cannot find anything. But there are elections today in Germany, so I'm really, really curious what's going to happen today. In Serbia, protests they're going on since January. So there are a lot of reasons, not all the same, but similar. And people are totally fed up with it. That's clear. And still the authorities are like, oh, it's nothing.
I saw Germany. Like there was protests there, and they were like, send them home or get them out or something like that. In France, they're just burning everything, burning restaurants, burning cars. They're setting everything on fire. Which, if it's your business, do they class it? Do you get insurance for things like that? Because that's kind of attacking the individual, which isn't the right way. So that's kind of, but they're, it's kind of hectic. And what what I think where this might be going is Albania just recently they have the AI procurement guy because it's to stop corruption. And every single country, bar maybe a few, maybe Russia, he seems intelligent, and Putin is making a bit of show. I know some people hate both him, Trump and himself, but irrespective, everywhere else, they're just all Muppets. Like Ireland, England, everywhere, orchestrated. And could this be part of Agenda 2030 or the New World Order? They're like, hey, look at this. We can actually use AI and everything is grand. There's no bribes, there's no kickbacks, there's no nothing. And then people go, oh, yeah, that'll work. And before you know it, we're all into one world government because they're controlling everything. So I think we have to be very careful how things are going because they're trying to do, the cashless society and everything. And when you see it happening in one country, it'll spread fast.
Yeah, that is what David Icke and many others are saying, is that they are pushing now for civil war, which is kind of happening. It's a civil war between the haves and the have-nots, let me put it like that. Or between, well, like in England, is between English people and foreign people. But that's totally different again in other countries. And the economic hardships, and against the corruption, this is also part here in Romania. Like, so they hope there will be a civil war, which again, we're close to it. If you shoot down 72 demonstrators, it's a civil war, yeah? And what they're going to do is that yeah, we understand everything, so we gotta get everybody a digital identity. We gotta get them a central bank digital currency, and we got the AI to run everything. Do you want that? Because then the civil war will stop. Yeah, we all want that. We're actually 2030. It's happening now. It's happening now. In October in Europe, they're going to introduce the CDBC. So a lot of these things which they said is the plan of 2030, I'm seeing it happening today as we speak.
The thing with all these protests, because even during the lockdown, there was loads of protests. And unfortunately, because we've seen it not just in the UK, like there was thousands of people got arrested, broke into their homes. So it happened in Melbourne, it happened in Ireland, where they're using the kind of social media against them. And the problem is everything is recorded. Like I noticed it here in Poland during the lockdown, the amount of cameras that were put up everywhere was 10x, and that's happening everywhere. So what they do usually is they're actually catching everybody. They've got your picture and they pick on each person individually. And it's easy because most people, they just let you fight your own battle and nobody's coming to rescue you. So most people, like when you have a protest like this, everyone should be told at a certain time, turn on your phone on live and record around. So not only is just say the UK, you've the 3 million, but you probably get half the population or more go, whoa, this is different to what I'm being shown because everyone is brainwashed into what they're thinking. But there has to be a different plan because there's rarely a kind of follow-up plan what we're doing. It's like, yeah, we have to take out the the councillors and the politicians, but there's not never done. It's like people go out, they have a sing song, they have a time, they go home, they have their flags, everything's grand, and they go home and there's nothing changed. And there has to be a system in place to make change. And it's very dangerous because the way they pick people out and they go for the leader. So like Tommy Robinson, I mean, he was already locked up. And like you've mentioned, when we mentioned on a few of the shows, other people that have been locked up, they go for the leaders. And like even unfortunately, like Charlie Kirk, that was assassinated just a couple of days ago. It's like he was a great voice. He was spreading a great message and a message of love. He wasn't a guy attacking. He had respect for people as they were talking, and they kind of like as they say, they cut off the head so that the rest falls apart. And I think there has to be more structured approach in what's the best way. And I think it's actually the boycott, how that was done before. You shun them. You shun them. Like there's people still lick up to the politicians and everything. No, you see when Starmer's out, there's people starting to kind of, attack him. They should do that. And I don't mean physically abuse him, but let them know, hey, you're not liked. Same with all the council. So when people are doing this, they need to be protesting outside their offices and take time to change so that the people go, I'm not liked. And that's how they'll make change. Whereas the protests on the street, they're sitting at home, they're laughing at that. I mean, have you seen any of the protests in the last 5 years make a difference?
No, you could easily say 50 or, or whatever. But
Yeah.
actually, I wanted to mention Nepal. I think what's happening in Nepal, and I don't approve because they went into the parliament building, they destroyed things, put things on fire. But now the whole government is gone. And there is a new temporary prime minister, which is a lady, a former chief justice, and she's an interim prime minister now. And they want them, and she's addressing all of this, I think, in a very good way. And she announced financial aid for families of people who were killed. Might be your husband who was earning an income, yeah. Promising wide range anti-corruption reforms, and they even she is talking with especially the students and the young people and the old government and everybody. So she's that temporary prime minister. She's bringing all those people together to discuss these things, and especially the protesters as well, because the protesters wanted her. So it's a bit radical how things are happening there, but the way it looked like, it's going to get real change.
No, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very good. Yeah. And,
So I think that's it for today.
yeah, just on the Poland thing, so the border, there's a lot of immigrants coming from Africa and the Middle East through Belarus, and they've just vamped up. They've put more barbed wire, more walls, more troops to stop that happening. So where we see all the chaos, all the countries destroyed. I saw a video of a guy just recently. He done a few walking through Belgium, which is the capital of the European Commission. And it was scary. It was like nearly everybody wanted to attack him. You know, they were like, they didn't like he was walking with the camera out and like not a safe place. And that's what's happening in most of Europe, whereas Poland, not like that at all. It's like, I feel safe here. And I think that'll show you the way it is. So, yeah, I mean, next week we'll have another show, but you find everything on awakeningpodcast.org. Scan the QR code, find all about Arnold, braingym.fitness. And until next week, take care.